Hey friends, Powwow Guy, Phoenix here. Just wanted to pop in and talk a little bit about the main grimoire of the Powwow tradition, the Long Lost Friend. The Long Lost Friend is the oldest grimoire created in the United States of America. So it is literally the oldest book of magic we have in print here in the United States. Um, it was first published in either 1819 or 1820, opinions vary. And it was first published as in the German language, Der Freund in der Not, the friend in need. And then later publications changed the name to The Long Hidden Friend, eventually became The Long Lost Friend, and published in English. Here in Pennsylvania, and it has the distinction of being the only magical grimoire, the first magical grimoire in the United States, but also the only grimoire that has been in continuous print for over 200 years. So this book has been in continuous print since 1819, 1820, and it is the first and longest running book of quote unquote folk magic here in the United States. So largely, John George Homan was the author of The Long Lost Friend, and he was an immigrant from Germany. He was what's called an indentured servant, meaning he couldn't afford to pay for passage for him and his wife to come here. So he basically sold himself to become a servant to somebody else. Um, to pay for passage here to the United States. So he had to work for years in order to pay that debt and become like a free man. And once he was able to do that, uh, he had some artistic ability. So he painted like birth certificates and death certificates for people in need. And then eventually he published, it's known that he was a practitioner of Brauerei, which was the healing tradition brought by the German-speaking immigrants, which would later become known as powwow, the English word for it. But he decided to publish what he knew about the tradition. According to legend and according to Homan himself, his wife was against him publishing this work, but he did it because he felt that uh, anybody who believed in Christ, who believed in Holy Trinity, should have access to this knowledge so they could bring healing into the world. And so he published this. Largely, The Long Lost Friend is plagiarized from an older German book called Egyptian Secrets of Albertus Magnus. This was a German book written containing all sorts of Christian charms and healing spells and rituals. So the idea of the long lost friend is really what created the tradition of powwow because these people who came from the German speaking lands were known as Brachers or Bracherei, and they were Christian folk healers. And once the long lost friend came into print, all of a sudden it was accessible to everyone. And even Holman states, like, to him who believes in the Holy Trinity, and believes in the power of these prescriptions, as he called them, this is going to work for you. And in fact, like even Albertus Magnus says that, like, it doesn't say anything about having to be taught by somebody from the opposite sex or anything. It just says, if you believe in the Holy Trinity, as found within Christian tradition, this stuff will work for you. So Homan kind of carried that belief forward. He published that in his book, The Long Lost Friend, and eventually The Long Lost Friend became as popular, if not even more popular than the Bible. So it was mostly found in homes alongside their copy of the Bible. Like every family had a copy of this, and it was just what they did. They didn't think of themselves as doing anything different or weird or magical or like separated from society. It was just a book of prescriptions for everyday needs. And that's what the tradition was. There was nothing like quote unquote special about it. It was just, you took penicillin for this, you did this burn charm for this, you said the Lord's Prayer for this, and like that's just how it was. Um, it was just a book for everyday like first aid stuff. And what's interesting though is that the book it's been in continuous print for over 200 years here in Pennsylvania. I mean, this is a Pennsylvania homegrown tradition. This grimoire um, was created and published originally here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and is still in print today. Now, my copy is well over 100 years old. It's falling apart, but it's still a very interesting book to have. Now, one thing that sets the long lost friend apart from any other like quote unquote grimoires is that it has a blessing in it. Whosoever carries this book with him is safe from all his enemies, visible or invisible. And whosoever has this book with him cannot die without the holy corpse of Jesus Christ, nor drown in any water, nor burn up in any fire, nor can any unjust sentence be passed upon him. So help me. And the three crucifixes are there. The long lost friend is it's cool because not only is it the very first grimoire ever in the United States, but it's a grimoire of Christian folk magic. So I think that's huge. That's like really important because the tradition of powwow is a Christian folk tradition. And again, it's a lot of what you find in there comes from uh, Egyptian Secrets of Albertus Magnus, which is a grimoire um, written in Germany, like a couple hundred years prior to the Long Lost Friend. But it's all the same Christian, if you believe in the Holy Trinity as found within Christian tradition, these charms will work for you. So anyway, I just want to talk about the Long Lost Friend because if you're here in Pennsylvania and you're interested in our history of folk magic and such, you can do no better than finding a copy of the Long Lost Friend. We have that claim to fame basically because those of us who follow and adhere to the powwow tradition as it traditionally, historically, religiously, culturally was practiced and adhered to, we're connected to literally the oldest grimoire tradition in our country, and that's huge. So anyway, a lot of people look at the long lost friend and scoff at some of the things. And yeah, some of the things seem silly, but look at the history and the power behind what we have. So anyway, that's just my discussion about the long lost friend. Hope you're all doing well on this Holy Week. Happy Holy Thursday. Happy Easter to you all. God bless you all. Love you. And let's talk soon.